Man, my desktop looks so boring and normal and not cool. I think I have an idea. Fuck.
A few moments later.
Now that's a cool setup. I should send it to my friends, see what they think. Hello my friends and welcome to the Cringe compilation. That is my channel. Today is going to be a special video because we're going to be taking a look at my desktop. I've been meaning to do this video for a while now, and because a lot of people actually requested that in the comments, well, not a lot but quite a few, and I actually thought this is going to be boring because really there's nothing interesting about my desktop. It's just i3 with holybar and Q browser, you know, all the stuff that cool kids use these days, the flavor of the month. But you know, I know you guys are curious, so you know, I'm going to do this video anyway. One more thing that I'm going to say is I am terrible at speaking on camera. The only way I've been able to YouTube videos is by using a lot of jump cuts, and of course there are going to be some jump cuts in this video. This is kind of inevitable, but please do bear in mind that I'm really bad at this. Alright, so right off the bat you can see that I'm using FFmpeg to record the screencast, and audio. I'm actually recording this audio on external camera because for some reason there's some sort of noise when I record the audio on my ThinkPad, so I'm just playing it safe. And let me bring up NeoFetch. I'm using Gentoo with tmux, st as my terminal, suckless terminal. I am not using Looksmith config file because I'm actually using like my own customizations, and I kind of found that it's easier to do using just starting from the scratch. So as you can see, I'm using solarized color scheme. Now I know some people might be angry about it because it turns out not everyone is a fan of solarized, as you might have seen in the intro. But basically, I really like this color scheme. It's kind of aesthetically pleasing, at the same time it's very functional. I've been color scheme hopping for a while, for a couple of years now. I've been using Dracula, I've been using dark grayscale, basically anything you can find on terminals.sexy, I've tried it. And I kind of stopped at solarized because I kind of find it cool. And also you can switch the color from dark mode to light mode by just pressing F5. And this is pretty cool, especially if you're not in a dark room, if you're not a basement dweller like me. But even a basement dweller like myself, sometimes I go out and I have to go to university to study. So using a light color scheme is really good. It's easy on the eyes. You don't have to crank up the brightness all the way up. So nice, really nice. So other interesting stuff is, here's my wallpaper. It actually comes quite nicely, it goes quite nicely with the color scheme, that's why I picked it. As I already mentioned, I'm using polybar, and of course I'm going to eventually upload all the dot files, I guess. Other stuff I use is S-Log. I don't use i3log or i3log fancy. I kind of find it too bloated, so I just use plain old S-Log. It does everything I need. And yeah, I also don't use display manager. I use StartX. As you can see in my Kornshell configuration file, it just starts X every time I'm in TTY1, and there is no display manager running, and yeah, basically that's what it is. Speaking of the shell, I'm using Kornshell, and it's not the original Kornshell from Unix, it's OpenBSD's version. I have this sort of, I don't know, soft spot in my heart about OpenBSD and all the software that they make. I really find it cool. Even though I don't know much about programming, I just kind of like what they do. So I'm trying to use as much software that they make on my system, even though I'm not using OpenBSD myself because there's just not enough software in the repositories. So basically, yeah, this is my Kornshell configuration file. It's nothing crazy really. I just have a couple of aliases because I can't be asked to remember the actual commands, and that sometimes hurts me a lot when I'm on the server or something. For my file manager, I use NNN. Recently, I've seen the Looksmith video by NNN and I actually thought it was pretty cool. I've heard about it before on Reddit and on 4chan, and after the video that Luke has uploaded, I decided to try it myself. So I think it's pretty nifty, yeah. It uses XDG Open for opening files. And as you can see, if I, for example, go into videos and open the current screencast, it's going to open it in nothing apparently. Whatever. It's supposed to open it. I'm gonna fix it. Yeah. Okay. For the terminal, the Suckless terminal does not support scrollback out of the box. You're supposed to apply some patch, and I could not do that because some cryptic error kind of showed, and I decided to, I just thought fuck it. I'm just gonna use tmux. So this is the initial reason why I'm using tmux right now. For example, as you can see, if I cat this file, I can scroll with my mouse, just scroll up, select stuff, and it's going to copy it in the buffer. As you can see, it's copied. So that's pretty cool. Another cool thing about tmux is that it has this like status bar in the bottom. I find it really useful sometimes. For example, you can display your CPU temperature. I don't actually need CPU temperature on my display all the time, and that's why I did not want to put it in the holybar in the top right corner. I just kind of need to take a look at it sometimes when I'm merging packages, and maybe it's just getting too hot, maybe I need to throttle it down a little bit, so that's why it's there. Also, it's displaying the Kornshell command, I think, and date, because once again, to display date in polybar, you need to click on the time, or you can kind of embed date in the time, but that's not going to look very good from the aesthetical point of view. So yeah, I just kind of chose to show it in tmux. Yeah. For my browser, I use a Q browser. It's going to launch in a couple of seconds. Yeah. This is the start page that I made for myself. This is how it looks. Yeah, basically there are all the websites that I'm visiting on a daily basis. It's really cool and really useful. I also use a custom configuration, which sort of imports all the colors from extra sources into Q browser, which is pretty cool, I would say. Other stuff I wanted to mention is, of course, my extra sources. Let me see. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm using Code for my fonts. Code is a slightly better version of Mono. It includes some glyphs that I use for programming, which of course I don't need because I can't program for shit. But I'm still using it, just in case I would one day need those glyphs. Other stuff I use is, let me see, solarized color scheme, which I already mentioned. I keep it in a separate file. This is how it looks. Oh god, it's a mess. I know. I haven't put much time into actually looking into it and maybe deleting the lines that I need. For example, I can definitely see that I do not need these lines here, so I'm going to delete them now. Also, as you can see, there is a configuration. There are some lines that configure Rofi, which I use as my launcher. I actually used dmenu before because it's just so lightweight and it just does one thing and it does it good. But one thing that kind of annoyed me about dmenu is that it doesn't have any kind of history, but I riced it to look as much like dmenu as it can look, so this is how it looks currently, and I'm kind of happy with it. Yeah, so I actually have a lot of stuff written here that is supposed to help me to not get lost in this video, but as you can see, it does not help much. Anyway, for my notifications, I use Dunst, as a lot of people do actually, the people that use i3 or an other tiling Windows Manager. I have this very hacky script that controls the media keys that I half stole from the Stack Overflow, half written myself, I guess. Basically controls CMUS, whatever. It just plays music, toggles plays and pause when I press F7, it goes to the next track when I press F8, and it goes back if I press F6. And for the media keys, it just controls the volume, basically. It increases the volume, decreases the volume, mutes it, does all the other cool stuff using Dunst and a mixer. So yeah, I also have shortcut bindings for my for doing screenshots, which works by pressing Ctrl-Alt-3. This is going to make a screenshot of the full screen, and if I press Ctrl-Alt-4, it's going to let me choose a rectangular region, I guess, and then it's going to make a screenshot of that. So yeah, the main attraction of this video is actually here. It's my i3 configuration file, which is also very messy. I beg your pardon if this hurts your retinas. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm just sorry. There are some initial bindings, some initial variables here. Again, the font, Vera code. Next, a few lines import the colors from extra sources. This is used a lot in this configuration file, for example, to pass colors to Dunst or Dunst. I'm not sure how to pronounce, I'm sorry. And this is how it looks like. It kind of just follows extra sources, colors, and this is very nice. Also, this thing switches the keyboard layout. If I press double shifts or both shifts, I guess, it's going to switch the keyboard layout from German to Russian and back. Also, this sets the repeat rate. And then I have this very hacky part of my workflow. I use two computers. I use my laptop, which runs Linux, and then I have desktop, which runs Windows. I use this desktop for playing games and editing videos. So to switch between them seamlessly, I have this USB switch. I can't show it because it's currently I'm currently using it to type. So basically, it's like a USB hub, but it takes two outputs. So if you have two computers which you need to switch between all the time, this is very useful because you can just press the button and it does this click. I don't know if you can hear it. And it switches from one of your computer to another one. And when I do that, unfortunately, my layout just goes fucked up and the repeat rate is back to very slow, and caps lock is actually caps lock. I use escape. I remake my caps lock to escape because Vim master race, but it just returns it back. So what I do is I actually looked for workarounds. I tried UDEV rules, I tried all kinds of stuff. Nothing worked reliably, so I kind of resorted to binding Alt-Tab to the same command, set xkb map, and etc. So every time I just see that my XKB configuration gets fucked up, I just press Alt-Tab and it goes back to normal. So I can run with that. This one launches holybar. It's a script that I once again stole from someone on the internet. Basically, it kills the existing instance of holybar and it launches another one, which is really useful if you change your holybar configuration a lot. Because, for example, let me actually do that real quick. For example, if I change something here, let me see, date. Let me just kind of write hello YouTube here. And this is not going to be updated in real time, of course, until I restart i3. Bam. As you can see, it works now. So I'm just going to undo it. Is it still rolling? Yeah. Go undo it now. Put it back to normal. So it basically resets holybar configuration every time I reset i3. So other stuff, not that interesting. I use Compton. I don't use transparency on inactive windows because it kind of annoys me to see my background every time I'm watching a video on YouTube. So I just use dim instead. This is how it looks. Basically this thing dims all the inactive windows. I kind of wish it dimmed to solarized background color instead of black, but that's cool too. I can live with that, I guess. Not that bad. Other stuff. X auto lock basically locks your desktop automatically after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, yeah, 10 minutes, unless you put your mouse in the top right corner. What else? Switch monitors. This is very interesting, so to say, script. It launches DDC control. This is kind of a tool that lets you change your monitor settings without actually fiddling with those annoying buttons, because you know all the monitors, they have like very annoying menus. I have no idea who comes up with those, but it's just, it takes a lot of time to do simple things like changing outputs or I don't know, changing brightness. So it's much faster to use DDC control. So basically what this thing does is when I press Control Shift Alt D, it's intentionally complicated because I don't want to press it by mistake. It switches monitor output from HDMI 1 to HDMI 2, once again from my laptop to my desktop computer. And on Windows I have similar binding, which I use, I forgot. I'm gonna put this on the screen somewhere, which does the same thing and basically switches the output back to my laptop. Gaps, basically I can toggle gaps, but I'm almost not using it because I think gaps kind of defeat the purpose of tiling window manager. I don't know, it's like if you use it, it's fine by me, but I don't like them, so I don't use gaps. So these are MIDI keys. I also have bindings for my screencasts. Basically, if I were to press Mod Control 6 now, it would stop my screencast. Other stuff, not that interesting. Basically, I have Mod W and Mod E mapped to tabbed and split layouts. This is the default key binding that i3 uses. I just added notification for that because I press those a lot by mistake. Have Q browser assigned to workspace 2 because I only use it here basically. This is the workspace that is dedicated entirely to ship posting, I guess. One more thing I want to show actually is the workflow that I use for my university. For example, you know, I would arrive at university, you know, I would have this note to review, for example. I'm taking my notes in Vim, and this is how they normally look. I use Markdown, as you can see. And for example, if I want to see how this note actually looks, I would launch LabDen Preview. LabDen is this tool that previews your Markdown files. You never know, maybe you fucked up in Markdown. There's no tool that lets you know that, oh hey, you skipped a slash here, or oh hey, half your text is bold now. So it's actually good to see how it looks. And I'll actually use those like that in light mode, just kind of side to side, writing stuff as I go along, more stuff. And as you can see, here it is, the stuff. So this is what I use to take down my notes. I'm studying linguistics, by the way, so I take a lot of notes. This is a sort of bachelor that is really involved with text, so for this purpose, Vim is really good. One more thing I do is I'm currently studying Python. So for Python, I also use Vim. I don't use any kind of IDE. I just use Python. Just use Vim for everything, and this is how it looks. I use Python mode. This is a plugin for Vim that basically kind of reviews your code, I guess, and it tells you is there something wrong with it. For example, if I put it here, it would tell me there's a syntax error, blah blah blah. And also you can launch the script. As you can see, it also parses the file and looks at all the, not really errors, but not nice things. For example, it tells us that here this line is too long. You need to keep it short. You need to keep it 56 symbols per line, I think. And this is exactly the purpose of this line right here. As you can see, it kind of is a limiter. You're not supposed to go over it. And if you press $R, it's going to execute the script. As you can see, there is no output. The script does not output anything. By the way, sorry for my terrible coding skills. I think people that actually program, unlike me, are going to cringe right now. I mean, they already have. But I'm just learning, so yeah. Yeah, I think that's basically it. There you have it. This is how I do my work. This is what I do. This is how it looks. So I hope your curiosity is now satisfied and we can get this out of the way. Thank you for watching this video. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the new year. Goodbye.